All right. Hello, everybody. We are ready to rock and roll. So I'm gonna begin sharing the live stream, and then we can just get right into it. Hello all, can you hear me and the background music as well? Karpov, thank you very much. Thank you. All right, I hope you guys are excited. I'm super excited to see what OpenAI drops today. So, hi Camel, 10 out of 10, awesome, thank you. All right, let's see.
Hey everybody, welcome to day 10. I'm Kevin Whale and I lead product for OpenAI. The mission of OpenAI is to make artificial general intelligence beneficial to all of humanity. And part of that is making it as accessible as possible to as many people as we can. So even though we have people on pro mode, our pro users doing super sophisticated things on our most advanced models, we also make it possible to come to ChatGPT for free and sign up and use the product without even having an account. So we launched ChatGPT originally on the web about 2 years ago. We brought it to iOS and Android about 6 months later, and more recently have launched apps on Mac and Windows. Today we're taking the next step and bringing ChatGPT to your telephone. So before we get into that though, I want you to do one thing for me. We've been up here 10 days in a row bringing you live streams every day, and we haven't asked you anything. So now I'm asking you for one thing, which is I want you to add ChatGPT to your contacts. So go to your phone, go to your contacts app, the name is ChatGPT, and the number is 1-800-ChatGPT. 1-800-ChatGPT. What's the number?
That's 1-800-242-8478.
I didn't hear him. What's the number?
It's 1-800-242-8478.
1-800-242-8478. 1-800-ChatGPT. Go add it to your contacts now. Trust me, it's going to make this demo a whole lot more fun. So let's dive in.
Hey everyone, my name's Amadou. I'm an engineer here at OpenAI.
And I'm Antonia. I'm a product manager here at OpenAI. As Kevin said, we care a lot about continuing to reduce barriers for more people to try out AI and see what it can do for them. And we're really excited that today we're bringing ChatGPT to you through 2 familiar channels, calling and WhatsApp. If you're in the US, right now you can call 1-800-ChatGPT to talk to ChatGPT by voice.
What number is that?
That's 1-800-242-8478.
Thank you. Okay.
And if you're anywhere in the world, you can also message ChatGPT on WhatsApp. And this is something you can do right now during this demo. You don't have to wait till the end. Let's show you how it works.
Great. So ChatGPT is great, but if you don't have a consistent data connection, you might not have the best connection. And so if you have a phone line, you can jump right into that experience. So I'm going to grab an iPhone, and I'll open up my contacts. So you can see I have all my contacts in here. And as Kevin mentioned, I have 1-800-ChatGPT.
Oh, you have the number there.
Yep, and I have the number 1-800-242-8478. And I'm going to click into that.
Hello again. It's ChatGPT, an AI assistant. Our conversation may be reviewed for safety. How can I help you?
Hey Chat, I'm on a road trip with Kevin and Antonia, and we're on the 280 highway between San Jose and San Francisco, and there's this really colorful house with domes that we're curious if you can help us figure out what it is.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. Those sound like the famous Flintstone house in Hillsboro near San Francisco. It's known for its unique, colorful, dome-shaped architecture, and sometimes called the Flintstone house because it looks like it's straight out of the cartoon. Cool sight to see on a road trip.
Yeah, it was very cool. That's got to be it.
Yeah, it's cool, but are people allowed to build houses like that anymore?
Yeah, it's pretty wild, right? Generally, as long as the structure meets local building codes and zoning laws and doesn't violate any homeowners association rules, people have a lot of creative freedom in how they design their homes. The Flintstone house is a good example of some out there architecture that's still within the rules. It definitely stands out.
Gives you some thoughts about your own place.
Yeah, exactly. So thanks, chat. We'll take that in consideration, and maybe we'll be building a Flintstone house soon.
Awesome. So that's ChatGPT on an iPhone from the car. But what if you don't have an iPhone? I recently went home and I found this old phone.
Is that like a foldable iPod?
It is a state-of-the-art flip phone from some years ago. Do you think I can call ChatGPT with this?
I have no idea.
Let's give it a shot.
Let's try it. Okay, so I'm going to dial 1-800.
1-800
242
242
8478.
8478.
And I want to ask it for some language help.
Hello again. It's ChatGPT, an AI assistant. Our conversation may be reviewed for safety. How can I help you?
Hey, Chat. I met my friend's grandmother's house, but her grandmother only speaks Spanish. Can you teach me how to say, "Hello, it's such a pleasure to finally meet you," in Spanish?
Sure. You can say, "Hola, es un placer finalmente conocerte." Give it a try.
Hola, es un placer finalmente conocerte. How's that?
Perfecto. That sounds great. You're all set to impress your friend's grandmother.
Gracias.
All right, that was cool. I haven't seen one of those in a while. But you know what? I'm going to take your flip phone and I'm going to raise you a rotary phone. I don't think I've ever used one of these before, actually. But do you think I can call ChatGPT on this?
Let's give it a go.
All right. I mean, this works like, half the time in practice, so let's see if we can do it. What's the number again?
That number is 1-800 242 8478.
Okay, let's see. All right. 1-800 242 8478. I can't believe we used to use these things.
Hello again. It's ChatGPT, an AI assistant. Our conversation may be reviewed for safety. How can I help you?
Hey, Chat, can you explain reinforcement fine-tuning to me as if I were 5 years old?
Sure. Imagine you have a robot friend, and you want to teach it to clean up your room. You give it a treat every time it does a good job. That's reinforcement fine-tuning. The robot learns to do better by getting rewards.
Awesome. All right, thanks so much, Chat. So I guess you can even call ChatGPT on a rotary phone.
Awesome. So that is calling with ChatGPT. And again, if you have a US phone number, you can get 15 minutes of free calling per month with ChatGPT. Download our app and create an account if you want to talk for even longer. But we have one more thing to show you today, and that is ChatGPT on WhatsApp. So let me go ahead and get this phone, and I'm going to start a WhatsApp conversation with ChatGPT. The three of us were planning to make dinner tonight, but we haven't figured out what we want to make. So
is that 1-800-ChatGPT in your contacts?
It is in my contacts, and I can just tap it to start a WhatsApp conversation. And I am going to ask it for maybe a pesto recipe for tonight.
Okay, that sounds good.
Hey, Chat, can you give me a recipe for pasta with pesto tonight? I'll fire that off to ChatGPT, and we'll see what it says.
And that gets sent off. It's running the 4.0 mini model, and it begins generating the response. And as soon as it has a message, it will send that, and it will continue sending messages until it's completed.
Awesome. So it has come back with a simple and delicious pesto recipe. It's given me the ingredients, some fresh basil leaves, some pine nuts, some garlic cloves, some Parmesan cheese, and then it also tells me what I need for the pasta. And then it gives me some instructions for how to make the pesto, how to cook the pasta, and how to combine them into a final dish and serve. That sounds pretty good to me. What do you think?
That sounds pretty good, but right now in this moment, I decided I'm going to become vegan. So I would love to see if we could update it to satisfy that.
That was a life decision you made on this live stream.
Yeah, right now with everyone here.
Okay, I think ChatGPT can do that.
Yeah.
So let's say I need you to update the recipe to be vegan. Let's see what it says. And actually, it's interesting. It looks like it already had anticipated that I might need some different options. So now it'll give me the full recipe.
Cool.
Okay, it is back, and it is telling me that for the vegan pesto, we are going to swap out nutritional yeast for the Parmesan. And it again gives me a set of ingredients and some instructions for how to make it. What do you think?
I mean, 5 minutes ago that sounded good, but I actually just decided that I will only eat meat now as of this live stream. So is there something we could do for me?
Sure, let's try that. So I'll say Kevin only eats meat. What can we make for him?
And while that's going off, if you scan this QR code,
Look at that.
if you take out your camera and scan that, it will drop you directly into the WhatsApp experience.
And now we have a response. So if Kevin only eats meat, we can prepare a hearty meat-based dish to complement our vegan pesto. And it's suggesting some grilled or pan-seared chicken, some steak with garlic butter, some meatballs and marinara sauce, some grilled sausages, or some bacon-wrapped chicken or pork.
All right, thank you for accommodating my last-minute life change.
Well, it was all ChatGPT. One other thing to call out with this, so right now this is a text-based conversation only. You can talk to it without needing an account. We're working on ways down the road for you to be able to also authenticate with your ChatGPT account, and that's how you'd be able to access additional features like chatting with images or search. For now, those features are just available on our mobile app and on our website.
All right, we're just getting started making ChatGPT more accessible to all of you. So just to recap, today you can, if you're in the US, you can call ChatGPT. You can also globally message ChatGPT on WhatsApp. And I just want to give a shout out to the team. This came out of a Hack Week project. Team built this just a few weeks ago and we loved it. And they hustled really hard to ship it. And it's awesome to see it here. So before we go, just remember, add ChatGPT to your contacts. That's 1-800-ChatGPT. What's the number again?
That's 1-800-242-8478.
All right. Thanks so much. Hope you enjoy it. We'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, so well, this is interesting, and I think it's a lovely feature for those who might not have even for areas where there's like no internet even. So you can just call it on the phone, and in any case or scenario where it's like maybe you don't have the cellular data, but you want to have ask a quick question, and it's also good for areas where there is limitations on how much internet data you can consume, or if there's like no internet there. So again, WhatsApp might not work there as well, but I'm really interested to see that kind of direction move forward. 1-800-ChatGPT. That's the number that you need to type. So if you look at the keyboard in your phone, I can bring it up. So if you look at the keyboard on your phone, let me show it like this, right? So letter C is on number 2. So then C is 2, then H is on 4, then A is again on 2. So that's why it's 242. And then we have the T, which is on 8, and then G, which is on 4 again, and then P, which is on 7 and 8. That's how the number gets added up. So this is like a US thing where you can say the number is 1-800 and then have a 7-letter word. So yeah, so I think for like rural areas, it's a good thing. Again, I'm not sure about the limitation, like 15 minutes per month. I think this is just more. It seems more like someone said that Mr. Leader YouTube said, like felt like a filler episode. Yeah, kind of a little bit. And it's also like, it also feels like a little bit of like a marketing hack, or like a PR stunt thing, like oh, we can now call ChatGPT on the phone, but it's pretty much the same or even a worse experience than if you just download the app and then you just register an account. So I think one of the things they're now seeing is that they just, as I said, I think in one of the previous episodes, is that they just need to get as many users into their ecosystem, because they probably see what I experience is that I'm so used to using ChatGPT that switching to a different language model is actually a little bit more of a little bit more difficult. And it's like I'm so used to it that I don't bother learning about other language models, like how to specifically prompt them and use them, because they do roughly the same thing anyway. And yeah, the training data trick. Yeah, maybe I don't think they necessarily need more training data, but I think it's they're trying to go into markets where ChatGPT is not that, where maybe there is like not a like a phone app, right? So there are phones where that do not have access to these things, and then having US phone numbers, be able to call this and use it for free is actually a pretty good thing. Obviously, they use GPT-4o mini to save on cost, so you're definitely not getting the 4o, which is like the more powerful version. So I think for me personally, I'm not really gonna use this feature, but it's good to have it there in case I need some, some kind of help with it. Hugh Scout says, we did something like that with automation months ago in WhatsApp. Yeah, so with WhatsApp, basically you can set up any kind of make scenario, and this could actually be like an interesting sidetrack that we can go into, because what you need is to set up a WhatsApp business account. You just need a WhatsApp. Oh, thanks for the subscription. You just need a WhatsApp phone number, which is like you need an extra phone number, and then you can set it up inside Make to be able to do things like back and forth. So unfortunately, I don't have like an extra phone number on my hands, but I like the theory behind it works very similar. So you just go into you just build that flow where it's like, oh, new incoming message, then okay, let's send this back. And actually someone in the community built an entire chatbot on WhatsApp that is built on Make and uses AI to book appointments for his clinic. And it can also take audio messages and text messages, and it uses a knowledge base as like a pretty advanced thing. So actually this is like a proud student testimonial moment. So WhatsApp is really easy to use for these use cases. And I can just quickly show it to you guys on like how that would work in theory. Again, I cannot set it up because I don't have an extra phone number right now in my hands. But maybe later we can do a community event where we dive deep into WhatsApp setup and handle that. So let me just go into quickly inside Make. Okay, so here we go. Here inside Make. And what you can do is you can just set up WhatsApp to have the business cloud watch new events. So whenever a new, like again, I cannot configure this webhook because I do not have a WhatsApp business connection, so that will have to wait. But I just want you to imagine this for educational purposes, that a message comes in on WhatsApp, and then you can just do whatever you want with it. So for example, you can just like this is pretty much what they did. They say like, oh, they've been working very hard. And I don't doubt that. I don't want to downplay that, but you could basically make the same version by just saying, here's a ChatGPT completion. And then it's like you put in you just select GPT-4o mini here. And then the message is for the user, you just send whatever again, we don't have the exact messages coming in, but we would see the message from user. You would send that in the text content, and then you just send the message back. Right? So it's like message comes in, ChatGPT processes it and sends it back. And then whatever you want to do in the meanwhile, so you can set up the consistent thread so it understands the chat history behind it. You can set up well, a lot of things. You can connect it to a knowledge base. You can also make it smart, so it, like, if the incoming message is a text, then it processes it directly. If it's an audio, then it just transcribes it, so it can also take audio conversations. But the WhatsApp bot works pretty much like this. It's not that complicated. So that's what's happening here. So Kamala says, that's right, Abe. In case there's no internet connection, it's all possible to get advice, such as access emergency numbers, for example. Yeah, or if there's like a big accident and then you need help on like how to do the whatever CPR, or I don't know, like some medical quick tip, that it's like, oh my God, someone's bleeding, or what do I do? And I mean, you should in that case definitely call 911, and they will probably give you the best advice. But I don't know, or maybe like your car broke down. Right, so maybe that's a better use case. Like your car broke down, it's like, hey, my car is giving me this symptom. What do I do with this? And there's no internet there, so then you can just call it on the phone. Because, you know, in like mountain areas where usually you have phone, phone coverage on more areas of the world than 4G or 3G or even Edge or whatever, right? So phone coverage is generally speaking better than internet coverage. So in that case, it's good to have that saved into your contacts. I also saved it, so it's 1-800 ChatGPT, and each letter corresponds to a number. So I mean that's the idea. That's how you can use ChatGPT on the phone or WhatsApp, and this way you can also build your own WhatsApp chatbot, right? So that's pretty much it. Now there are a lot of chatbot tools that can also integrate things into WhatsApp, and I also encourage you to try those tools like Chatbase, which allows you to create a chatbot that has a knowledge base, and then you can very simply connect it to WhatsApp, and you don't need to build the entire architecture even in no code by yourself. So that is probably an easier way to do it. But if you want it to have more customized things, or you want it to be able to do certain things, then you can set up branches, and then you can configure function calling, which we talked about last time, where it's like, oh, based on like you could have your own assistant. And it's like you just send a message to them on WhatsApp, like the virtual AI assistant. And then based on the message you send, it will just schedule a new meeting, or it will send an email, or it will, delete a meeting or something like that. Like, hey, sorry, I can't make it, delete the event. But again, that's kind of a thing that you can also do in like 1 minute by just calling the person. So again, not much time saved. But for businesses that regularly connect with a lot of people, there's like phone support and so on, customer support bots via WhatsApp or appointment setting. That can be a really, really big thing, because then it's like everything is AI automated. And instead of GPT-4o mini, you can set the more powerful models like 4o, and that can be your next social media AI agent, or your sales appointment setter, your support agent, and so on. It's the only matter of like how well you can configure the prompt here, and how well you can configure this entire flow to actually do things for you. So like that's the idea. Let me know if you guys have any questions in the chat, and I'm more than happy to answer it. We have a lot of time on our hands, and it's not like they launched some crazy new feature that we can play around with. It's just an extra channel that we can use to communicate with ChatGPT. So if there's anything you want to learn or talk about, or ask questions, then I'm here, and then we can just have a discussion. Let's try to keep it into this kind of ChatGPT on the phone, WhatsApp, and this kinds of direction. But I'm open to talking about anything else. So let me know if you guys have any questions. Just feel free to put them in the chat, and then we'll just take it from there. All right, guys, no questions, or am I just in the wrong chat? It's a live chat. Yeah. I mean, I talked to ChatGPT on WhatsApp. I asked it like, what model are you based on? And then it said like OpenAI's GPT-3, which is a large language model trained on a diverse range of text data, but it's not GPT-3. All right, so it's clearly not. Dave, do you promise your members we'll have some meeting before the end of the year? Well, actually, that's a good idea. We should have some kind of year wrap up or review or something like that. So yeah, that's a good idea. I'll schedule something for Friday, so everybody has time to prepare, like for the calendars, to put in your calendars, and then we can have a little discussion. That's great. I tried creating a group on WhatsApp with ChatGPT, but it doesn't work. Oh, you mean like a group chat where you add ChatGPT? Yeah, they probably like blocked that feature or something. Would be interesting to have it, respond to multiple people in the same thread. And this announcement was kind of a little bit underwhelming, to be honest. I mean, I guess they needed to fill out the 12 days with something. But I mean, it's cool, right? So all right, so meanwhile, I'm gonna pull up Alan's chatbot and give you guys like a brief review on how that works. Okay, so the chatbot that I'm gonna show you, WhatsApp chatbot, is created by Alan Machado da Silva Dutra, who's a member in our community, and he just shared this WhatsApp chatbot that uses superpowered AI to do everything, which is kind of a bummer because superpowered is now rolling out. So I highly recommend everybody just switch these modules to Keymate, and you'll be good to go. But here is the overall view. And so what it does is that the new event comes in on WhatsApp, and there's this router which splits it into 3 different routes. So if the message is video or image, then it just responds like, hey, sorry, I cannot help you with that. If it is text, then it processes this flow. And if it's audio, then it processes this bottom flow, which is roughly the same as this one, but it has an extra step which does the transcription first. So it transcribes the audio message, and then it does everything. So there's a data store which checks if the customer who we have a chat with does already have a record in the system, and if it exists, then it does the top one. If it does not, then it does the bottom one. And then at the end, it decides whether it's gonna send. So this HTTP request, this is what also does the knowledge-based retrieval and the GPT response in one. So this sends the request, and this one gets the request back. And then if the request is successful, then it adds a new row to a spreadsheet. So keep the log. And it also decides whether it wants to send the calendar link for the person to book a meeting or not. All right, so that's one message. And then if the person responds, it just does this flow again and again and again. And then the bottom one is the same way, just the prompts are configured slightly differently. And then it also sends a message here. And if it's audio, then it's again same thing, whether it exists or does not exist. And we have this beautiful automation. So again, this is something that was built by one of our students who is a medical doctor and not a programmer or anything. So all you need is like an idea, a good thought, and then you can just go and build whatever you want, pretty much. So in this case, this just handles the backend, and WhatsApp is the front end of the chatbot. And then what happens is people send messages to this AI chatbot, and then it just sends them calendar links to book a meeting. Camel says, today I played around with the project feature, but nothing exceptional. What do you think of it? I think it's really cool. And I mean, organization has always been one of the big difficulties in my life. So I really like the projects feature where we can just like organize things into proper folders. I haven't played around a lot with it. This last week is super busy. I want to make sure I can like circle down everything before I go on a vacation, because then after that it's not gonna be we're not gonna be able to do anything for the next I'm on a holiday for the next almost 2 weeks. So I just want to make sure that I finish all the projects that are open and make sure everything is running smoothly while I'm away. So yeah, other than doing this live stream, I didn't have a lot of time to play around with the new features, but I'll probably do that while I'm on holiday. I'll bring my laptop and I'll just play around. Did anyone catch what's the WhatsApp rate limit? Like how many messages can you send through WhatsApp? I didn't quite catch that one. And I gotta send these headphones back because it's either my ears are too big or these cups are too small. But it's really uncomfortable compared to my old gaming headphones. Those are a lot better. So I think I'll just buy another gaming headset. Those are built for heavy, long hours, and generally speaking, much more comfortable than these. Hugh Scout says, maybe it's not so exceptional, but remember us. Keep simply, things still are needed. I never think of use my chatbot for the rural areas we worked without good internet. I don't quite understand that. Maybe it's not so exceptional. Yeah, so it's like, yeah, other people, in rural areas could definitely need it without good internet. Yeah, 100%. I think that's the whole idea behind it. And the fact that you can, build something like this in like 2-3 weeks, it's amazing. So that just shows the power of I mean, they probably wrote most of the code with ChatGPT anyway, so that's that just shows how fast, how quickly you can ship things if you use AI and you are familiar with these things. And again, the idea is in this case is just, again, it's more important than the actual execution. So you just have an idea, then you can do, like what I showed you, building a WhatsApp chatbot. If you have the idea and you know how to configure it, you can get that done in like a couple of hours. So that's cool. Freedom Fighter says, what is expecting something bigger, honestly? Yeah, me too. But again, who can blame them? They've been shipping things so crazy in the last 10 days, and they also have 2 more days left. And I think they have something big for the last day, so we'll see. Again, someone also said in the YouTube chat, it's like, oh, you need to, they needed a filler, but I mean, it's cool. And now ChatGPT is in my contacts as well, so anytime I need to. Well, for me, it would probably be a lot more expensive than for you guys because if you're not inside the US, then calling a US number is actually ridiculously expensive. So the problem, what Camel says, is that this new feature is only for Americans because to use WhatsApp you need an internet connection. Yeah. So and once you have an internet connection, then you can probably also download the app, unless you are not on either iPhone or Android, or there's a limitation for your country for using ChatGPT or any of the AI tools. Because I don't know if the ChatGPT app is available in across the board everywhere, but maybe WhatsApp has less limitations. So with WhatsApp you can interact with it. And again, they said that they're gonna bring in more and more features for the WhatsApp version as well. So we'll see how that works. What are your predictions, guys, for the next 2 announcements? Because we have 2 more days left. Camel, I know you have some very interesting thoughts on what they will launch, so I'm very curious to hear that. So Hugh Scout says, yes, my US phone line is working, but not my Mexican one. Yeah, I think you can only call it from US phone numbers, actually. So the why you save it is that you can call it, or you can engage with it on WhatsApp. And if you have a US phone number, you get 15 minutes per month, something like that. It's enough to save your ass if you get stuck somewhere, probably. Also, something very interesting to notice here in the chat. I asked it. That's like first question was like, act as a no-code AI agent developer and design an email marketing agent that can handle support tickets. And it just gave me like a super long response. But what I can see here is that sometimes it's like broken into separate parts. So I have multiple messages. So that's how they kind of like bypass. There's some certain limit on WhatsApp messages, like how long they can be. So I think that's something that they had to solve through this 2 weeks to make sure that the responses are actually chunked into different parts. Why do I even have my headphones on? I'm not even listening to anything. Oh, this is a bad review for Sony. Okay, someone, Freedom Fighter says day 12 GPT 4.5 maybe, or something related to agents AGI. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too for day 12. Camel says GPT 5. Bold prediction. Dale says, but you can message it from anywhere in the world. Yeah, so from WhatsApp, but you need the internet connection to make the WhatsApp work. Hugh Scout says a 75% discount on Pro. Probably not. No, the Pro plan is... I don't think they're gonna decrease that. OpenAI doesn't seem to be a company doing discounts all the time. I don't think they ever did. Chetty just told me her guideline prohibit her from engaging in fake conversations, so there goes my idea of using this number to get out of meetings. Still, my grandma will appreciate it. What kind, like, how were you wanting to use it for, like, a fake conversation? It's not like it can call you. But there are services like that, which I heard about this, that can call you, and it's like, oh, sorry, I have the phone's ringing, and then you just go outside, and then you obviously don't need to like pick it up or just pretend like you're talking to someone. I wonder what what the OpenAI costs will be for WhatsApp credits. Because receiving and sending the messages, I think that also has like a monthly cost to it. Any other prediction, guys? I mean, going back to projects, what Camel said, I think one of the big things there is that people will get closer to understanding how the file uploads work, because in projects you can also upload files there. And then once you try that, you will start to see what it can and what it cannot do. So people will be more familiar with the, well, not necessarily the RAG technology, but how RAG actually works. So that's gonna be interesting. I think one of the key challenges that people need to still overcome, and for us prompt masters who bring in these AI technologies into companies, is that people have sometimes an inflated sense on what AI can actually do, and when we look under the hood, it's not that easy, and it does not have the capabilities that people think it will have. Trezor says, generate images natively from GPT-4o. What do you mean generate images? You can already generate images with Dolly. So if I say generate or whatever, generate a squirrel riding a bike. It's 4o and it's generating. So can you, Trezor, can you specify that? So it's 4o. It's like, oh, amazing. NPC Studios says, she said there is currently no limit on the toll-free calling. I think they said something like 15 minutes per month for each US phone number. So they kind of track how much you used it. But maybe I misunderstood that part. Or I also didn't catch the part that it's toll-free. Are all 800 numbers toll-free? Let me ask ChatGPT. Are all 800 numbers toll-free? Yes. Oh, okay. So in the US, that's for US people can pick up on that. Okay. So 800 numbers and 888 and yeah. Freedom Fighter says video file input support in ChatGPT for day 11 maybe. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, that would be really cool. Yeah, because currently it does not support videos. So I think Gemini actually beats it there, because Gemini can take videos. MPC Studio says, I did ask her about the 15-minute, but she said currently no limits. Well, yeah, but the language model does not really understand its own capabilities. So unless it's stated to her directly in the prompt, she will not know. Because its knowledge cutoff has been way earlier. So its knowledge cutoff for 4.0 mini is probably somewhere along like 2022, 2023, somewhere. So it does not know even like 4.0 exists. It doesn't even know about GPT-4. She's known to lie, yeah. Yeah, Gemini can process large videos very well. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was referring to. It's good to play around with these different tools and see what their limitations are. Actually, I saw a very crazy use case the other day where Gemini could diagnose pancreatitis. It's crazy. I want to find it and show it to you guys. I can't believe it's only on Instagram. Okay, let's see this one. Well, that's the best I can show you guys, but I will show you.
What do you see? Can you describe what image?
Oh, it has a stupid background audio. Hold on, let me find a different one that does not.
You see? Can you just?
This one also has the background video or background music.
What do you see? Can you?
Yeah, I guess it's the same video, just re-uploaded many times. I guess we just have to live with the video then. Just not share it with like that. So it says it's scrolling through the CT. I'll just share the audio. Hold on.
What image I'm scrolling through?
Let me just lower the music a little bit. Yeah, this Instagram Sigma music, whatever that is.
What do you see? Can you describe what image I'm scrolling through right now?
The image you're showing is a CT scan of the abdomen. It displays the liver, stomach, and surrounding structures.
What organ am I pointing to now with my cursor?
You're currently pointing to the spleen with your cursor.
Okay, Gemini, what am I pointing to now? What organ?
You're now pointing to the liver.
Okay, so I'm scrolling down here now. Gemini, what am I pointing at now? What organ is this?
You're now pointing at the pancreas.
Okay, and do you see anything abnormal on this scan?
Yes, there is a small amount of fluid around the spleen and the pancreas on the scan, which could be a sign of inflammation or injury.
Okay, anything else that you notice about the pancreas?
The pancreas appears somewhat swollen, which could suggest pancreatitis.
Okay, the patient has an elevated lipase level. What do you think about that?
Given the elevated lipase levels and the appearance of the pancreas, it is highly suggestive of pancreatitis.
Okay, what complications should I be looking for?
Based on the scan, you should be looking for complications like pancreatic necrosis, pseudocysts, and infection.
Hey Gemini.
Okay, so it's good that now I can shine my medical background here. So what's the very important thing here is that it can notice like how the pancreas is a little bit swollen, and that's like it's not that obvious for to see that. So it's good that it can see that, but with pancreatitis you kind of need to tell a little bit more, and it's just like seeing the you don't necessarily need a CT scan to diagnose pancreatitis, because you can just diagnose that from like a lot of other conditions like abdominal pain, elevated lipase levels, as they said, pain after eating, and it's like there are so many things you can diagnose this. It's probably ultrasound is probably an easier way to diagnose it. But in this case with the CT scan, it's good because pancreatitis to diagnose visually is actually a hard. It's among the hard challenges, right? So and it being able to discern between a normal and abnormal pancreas, it's actually really important. But then after you said like, oh, it's elevated lipase levels, I think GPT-4o mini can also put that together, like, oh, there's a swollen pancreas and elevated lipase levels, then that's pancreatitis. But what's actually a lot more interesting is I follow Ethan Malik on LinkedIn, and he shared a post. Let me just go find it for you guys. Shared a post about O1 preview actually being better in differential diagnosis. Here we go. Oh. Here's the post. Okay, so the quote is, O1 preview demonstrates superhuman performance in differential diagnosis, diagnostic clinical reasoning, and management reasoning, superior in multiple domains compared to prior model generations and human physicians. So if you look at this chart, you can see that the percent correct diagnosis in differential diagnosis O1 preview just outscores GPT-4 and basically all the other medical applications. Now, I would assume that clinician Google 2023, this is going to be the clinician doing the work. And then here's the full paper. Let's see what else is here. Superhuman performance of large language models on the reasoning tasks of a physician. And this is very interesting because I went to medical school, and I understand that most of the things that you learn are there to help you connect the dots and make these differential diagnostics differences. So like a lot of the learning is just about helping you have a really good understanding of the human body. And if something breaks, how do you figure that out, and how do you change that? So going like using O1 preview is actually like a little bit. I wish that I could be now, a doctor and say, oh, I could just go diagnose this with O1, and at the same time, I'm so glad that I went in a different direction, because I hear now the stories that my friends are telling me on like what they're doing every day, and it's like I'm so happy for them, but at the same time I know it's like, oh, this was definitely not for me. Freedom Fighter says, did you go to med school? Yeah, I went to medical school here in Hungary. It's a 6-year training, and I did 4 years, and in the 5th one, I got super burnt out, and I already had the business going on the side, and I decided to just take a leap of faith and try the business, see how well that works, and it worked out. So I decided to go for it, and then I quit. So that's the story there. Camel says, I had worked on a project along these lines, but the issue with the current models is that they are not sufficiently pre-trained in this area. The error rate remains significant. Yeah, I understand the error rate remains significant, but what's important here is that it's better than a human, right? So humans are trained for in this case 6 years plus whatever many years you need to do before getting into medical school, and then after that it's like 4 or 5 years for residency, and then you just keep getting trained, and then you achieve, in this case, 30% correct rate in differential diagnosis, where O1 preview gives 75. No, it was not Semmelweis, it was Szeged, a smaller city in Hungary. So the error rate remains significant, yeah, and that's going to be the case for a lot of AI automations and AI agents. What you need to just compare it to is, instead of the error rate versus perfect, is the error rate versus human. And then ask yourself, like, there are like 5 questions that you kind of need to ask yourself when it comes to kind of like rating these systems. Is actually, I wanna bring up Ethan Malik's other post, because he really well put it, and I just don't want to paraphrase without giving proper credits. And there we go. Here are the 5 questions. So he says, I think firms worrying about AI hallucination should consider some questions. How vital is 100% accuracy on a particular task? 2, how accurate is AI at that task? 3, how accurate is the human who would do it? 4, how do you know 2 and 3? Have you tested that? 5, how do you deal with the fact that humans are not 100%? Not all tasks are the same. So I think this is critical. And I really like his book Co-Intelligence. I recommend everybody to read it. And what I recommend you to think about is like, how can I use these AI models to augment what I do? And because you are the expert in some area of your life, how can you use this tool to make you better? Or do the same but work faster? Hugh Scout says, error rate is what AI still need us to supervise as experts on a subject. Yeah, but AI plus human is going to beat human every single time, for sure. And then maybe after a while, AI is going to beat AI plus human. Or human is like the plus human is not going to add anything to that. And then we'll just have a different problem in our hands, which is going to be like, okay, what do we do with our free time? Camel says, oh, freedom fighter. That's so cool, actually. I'm in my first year also in Hungary. Oh, that's amazing. So good luck with your studies. First year is actually pretty difficult. So good luck with anatomy. And you got this. Camel says, the issue, especially for us Europeans, lies in sharing patient imagery. There are heavy procedures to obtain them in order to fine-tune specialized models. Yeah. So that's the kind of gap that we keep seeing, is that there is the technology that we know could be used for so many things, but the actual implementation has a lot of these roadblocks, these filters. One of them is regulations. The other one is people's mindset and mentality towards new things. Another one is cost of implementation, right? So some businesses need the tools and they have the open mindset, but they do not have the budget to pay for someone to create these implementations, nor do they have the budget to actually go and send someone to learn how to do these things so they can build the internal know-how. So that's another thing. And then we also have the technology not being accessible everywhere, or there might be other barriers for access, like internet access and other things like, or language barriers. And I think this is now why, or this is now maybe the next challenge in our lives with helping AI adoption, is that in the beginning we have some areas of the earth where it's like there's like these very hot spots for AI innovation, and then we have other areas that are not so hot. So what we need to do as people who are in the trenches, and we know this AI and we know how to build these automations, is to kind of go and lift people up to help them understand these things as well. Hugh Scout says, what if you use a non-disclosure agreement to help you with EU regulations? That's not necessarily how that works, unfortunately. So the EU has this AI Act, which limits AI companies on what kind of products they can launch. And it also limits people using AI technologies on what kind of products they can launch to market. So it also specifies not just the creators of AI models, but also the deployers of these AI models to have to adhere to certain regulations and safety checks and so on to make sure that whatever product they launch is actually safe to use. So, and then the EU also has the GDPR, the General Data and Privacy Protection or something like that. I don't know what the letters stand for exactly. But again, EU tries to take this privacy thing seriously, but I mean, we're living in 2024, so I don't think there's that much privacy anymore. But the EU has a lot of regulations that is trying to keep European citizens safe, and I hope that works out, to be honest, because it baffles me a little bit on how over-regulated everything is. So we Europeans do not get access to the best technological tools, even if we wanted to. So it's not like I can just turn the switch off and say, okay, I don't care. I want the best stuff and I'm willing to handle the risks, because they just made that decision for us. So it's like, that's what happens. I think what Microsoft and Google and OpenAI definitely has to focus on in the future, if they want better adoption, is to collaborate with these government agencies, or I don't know what they're called, to make sure that they can launch these projects like as soon as possible in a safe way. So Google launching this Gemini, it's not even a medical specific AI, but that's, oh sorry, I got sidetracked by the comment. So that it's not a specific medical AI, but you can use it for, so like general use case is already included in that some way, like somewhat, a little bit. Again, I would be really interested to see it diagnose, see what the other hit rate is, because now we're just seeing it diagnose pancreatitis once. It's like, okay, it's a cool demonstration, but that does not mean it can diagnose all kinds of diseases from images. And yeah. Camel says, a new study reveals something stunning. ChatGPT diagnosed medical cases with 90% accuracy, doctors without AI 74, doctors with AI 76. Yeah, I heard something about that as well, which is that experts with AI actually tend to perform worse than non-experts with AI, because experts have this mindset that, oh, I know better. So they kind of like override the AI's responses, actually leading it to make more errors. So like doctors with AI, it's like, oh, do not confuse your Google search with my medical degree kind of thing. Oh, Camel, we cannot see the link. Hold on. Let's see if I can turn that on. Moderation. Oh. I think only I can send the link in the chat. I think it's only for admins. Oh, we have Q&A poll. Okay, let's start a poll. How do you feel about ChatGPT on the phone and WhatsApp? Very excited or meh? Let's see this poll. Oh, there we go. It just puts it right in your face. Hugh Scott says, for medical prediction, we used to program machine learning with IBM Watson several years ago. I don't know if Watson's still on the edge of medical AI research. It's probably better than the general models like GPT or Claude or anything like that. Oh, I cannot vote. All right. It's 2-for-1 now for me. 3 for 1 for me. 4 for 1. 5. Oh, okay. Yeah, so again, medical research or any kind of other research and like use cases. Again, this is the crazy thing about large language models now, that even the models that are not trained specifically for these use cases actually perform really well on these use cases. And then there are the small language models that can be trained for highly specific use cases. They still tend to overperform the LLMs, but they require a lot more training. So what that means is LLMs, however they might cost more to use for these use cases, they are at a level that is really good and kind of combats the PhD experts in that area. And I think that's the key thing now, is that everybody now has something in the pockets. Whether you cannot call O1 on the phone, but you can call or you can talk to ChatGPT in a way that you get responses similar to what you would get from a person with PhD in that field. Isn't the DeepMind protein folding tool really helpful in research? Yeah, these tools are very, very helpful. So again, what's crazy is that the tools, the LLMs that are not developed for these things actually perform really well on these things. You know, the DeepMind or any kind of research tools specifically trained for one use case is a big thing, and that's amazing, and that's what machine learning is for. But generative AI, like general purpose technologies that can engage in any kind of chat interaction and perform really well on these tasks, that's the interesting part. Like that's in like similar level to O1 being able to drive a Tesla at a better level than a human, right? Because Tesla is training the self-driving cars, and they have to take in a lot of different data to be able to make sense of the world. And they are far surpassed humans in terms of how safe they are. But in terms of language models, obviously they're not gonna be that well drivers. Freedom Fighter asks, what's the reason behind that, or what could be? Well, I assume you're asking for what's the reason behind LLMs being good at tasks they're not trained on doing specifically. Is that the training data pool is like so diverse that it just has these associations that the language models can pick up on and actually have this performance. But I don't know what kind of data they trained on. That's like proprietary secret. So we don't know exactly. And Camel says now that he sent over the link to me in the community. So I'm gonna put that in the chat for you guys. Thank you, Camel. Oh, I'm on a different computer. I use two computers here. I need to log in from this one. So the reason for these LLMs being really good at these things is that the training data is good. It probably covers a lot of that data, but also how well these language models can kind of like change their biases and their weights to make sure that we can use them for these use cases. So it's a pattern recognition that they do, that they can get out of the language. And I think what's actually pretty interesting is that in the future we will definitely use language models to understand alien languages. Like if we make contact with alien species, then we can just quickly add some extra chain. Like you would take the biggest language model, like the best language model, GPT-4o, and add some other data to it, to its training pool, and it will notice the similarities between the languages on like how, what kind of structures they have. So we could potentially use these LLMs to train them on new language that we don't understand, and then it could understand it and give us the insights. Okay, so let's see this. All right, guys. The announcement from OpenAI was a little bit underwhelming. So, as there's not much to do for us here, I'm gonna start wrapping up this live stream. And as always, I will see you tomorrow on same time. So that's 7 p.m. Hungary time, 6 p.m. UK time, 1 p.m. Eastern time, and 10 a.m. Pacific time to watch the other two announcements. So streaming on Thursday and Friday as well. So feel free to come back to this channel or go to the community and you'll find it at the event. And I'm gonna be, we'll just do the same thing. You guys are now regulars here, Camel, Freedom Fighter, Hugh Scout, and so on. So we'll just have this little back and forth, talk about the feature. I'll share my thoughts. I'll ask you. Now I know how to use polls. We'll also do the Q&A. But we'll try the Q&A feature next time, if I don't forget. And yeah, that's it. Camel says the latest Llama 3.37 billion model performs almost at the same level as the 405B. Model is definitely gonna become increasingly powerful. Yeah, and what I talked about, I think, I don't know which session it was, but it's that we don't necessarily need more powerful models. We need the same power in less compute to make these models cheaper to run. So they can be more accessible, they can reach more people, more people can afford to use them. And then that's how we can help these models change the world, really. So yeah, that's it for me for this stream. Thank you very much, all of you, for coming and tuning in. Have a nice evening, or have a nice day. I don't know, depending on your time zone. And I will see you all next, tomorrow, where we'll keep doing what we're doing. So take care, everybody.